name is Kat. I'm an annuity sales director here with IAMS, and I have our VP with Talcott, Sam West, joining me today. He'll be going over all of the exciting updates that we have here with Talcott. They absolutely changed the game on the immediate income side the first part of the year. And so into the second part of the year, they'll be becoming even more competitive in the deferral years. So he'll be going over some of those updates that we have here with Talcott. They've been a wonderful partner with IAMS. And so before I jump into all of that, I just have a little bit of housekeeping. So this will mainly be for our newcomers and for people that have been here for a while. It's also a really nice refresher of all of the values and different propositions that we have here at IAMS. But basically, when you are brand new to IAMS, we do have our new producer builder. So our new producer builder, this is available within the first 180 days. So in that first tier, you see it only takes a $100,000 case to go ahead and get started and start growing your production here with IAMS, but also to ramp up some of the incentives that we have. So you could start off with a $1,500 postcard mailing, iPad, $750 cash, some other email packages that we can put together for you on drip campaigns. And then that goes all the way up to the $1 million level. So all the way at that $1 million level, you see the incentives start to increase. So you're seeing 8 to 10 preset annuity appointments. You're looking at seminars. And in those middle tier sections, the $250,000 to $750,000 case, that's an average case size that I see, especially within the first 180 days, but there truly is no limit. So for agents that have been doing this for a while, 1 million is easy. No big deal. But for some people that are just getting their marketing going and just trying to get acquainted with what works and what doesn't, we have all of those other tiers, and we hope to help you see and meet all of those tiers through your marketing and being a helpful resource in you and all of that. So these are all of the incentives, and once you graduate from the 180 days, you do move into our marketing reimbursement program. We call these marketing dollars. So for every $100,000 of FIA premium you're doing, you get $100 back into your marketing account. So for example, if you are doing any FIAs with Talcott, for example, you just do 100,000, you get $100 back. You do $1 million, you get $1,000 back. So really great way to ramp that up, whether you want to do that in your first 180 days or you have a bunch of stuff in the pipeline and you're just bringing that along and that's just going to stay accumulated in your marketing account, whatever works. And we do count everything here. So single premium life and life target premium is also counted for life insurance. So if you're doing any kind of single premium life, for every $100,000 of life target premium you're doing, you get $200 back. And then for every life target, for every $10,000 you're doing, you get $200 back as well. So for agents that do a blend of both, it's really nice to have life and annuity carriers here because as you can see, it all adds up and goes right back into your marketing account. And the nice thing, one of the most unique things that I love about IAMS is our referred producer program. So just like referrals are the lifeline of your business, it's also the lifeline of ours. And these are actually Chris and Steve's favorite checks to sign. So the $50 one-time bonus and then the nice quarterly bonuses that we pay out, that doesn't come from your colleagues or your friends' commission. It actually comes from IAMS. So you'll see that check come in on a quarterly basis from IAMS. So again, it's a $50 one-time bonus when they become contracted with IAMS. So for example, if you're contracted with Talcott and they also decide to get contracted with Talcott, you get a $50 bonus. Every time they write FIA business, you get 20 basis points off of that. Any MIGA business they're doing, you get 10. And then any life insurance business they're doing, it's 15 basis points for life target and 75 basis points for single premium life. So it truly does all add up. And before I jump into any other of the slides, I just wanted to launch a quick poll. So first one will be, are you guys appointed with IAMS already? So I'll go ahead and give you guys a second here to vote. Hope to see everybody saying yes, but also hope for some no's here. Thank you guys for taking the time to vote. Appreciate you all. I see you there, Tony, Bob, Bart. Really nice to have you here. Lorenzo, haven't seen you in a while. Really good to have you here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get this closed up here and jump right back into it. One thing I wanted to note as well is our back office support. Our back office support is the best. And I say that because we have the best people here. So amongst having the system, the portals, the IT, all of the technology behind it all, at the end of the day, it's people behind the screen. And so there's only one of me. There's only one Kat Boondock here. There's only one Curtis Hawks. There's only one Steve Murray. And together, we have really some of the best leadership. We have marketers here with a really long tenure. We have Laura that's been here ever since she was a teenager. So she's been here for pretty much 20 years now at this point. Matt's been here longer than I've been alive. He's been here for 30 plus years. So we have many people, different backgrounds, a whole lot of experience, and not to mention the partnerships that we've also developed. So Sam has been a really great resource and has known IMES for a long time. And so these long-standing relationships that we've had both with the carriers are, of course, first relationship-driven and people-driven. And so with IMES having their 40th year anniversary, we've been able to develop relationships both with vendors, both with carriers, but also we have all of the technology to support it. And so as you can see, our website that's available to you 24/7, because of course we're not here 24/7. We're here Monday through Friday. But point is, we all come into the office. We don't even have a voicemail. And every time you call in, there's a 2-ring guarantee. So you do get a live person every single time if you need help with any of the portal stuff. So for example, the sales tools that you have, like Annuity Rate Watch on there, the income quoter tool, the sales resources library. We have some great sales courses as well on there. There's really an abundance of information that's on their portal. And so we marketers go on this every day, and you guys have full access to that as well. And along with all of that informative material, you can also process business on our website. So we have Luma Firelight, we have iPipeline, Sunfire for Medicare, especially as AEP is approaching. It's really nice to do everything all in just one place, but Luma Firelight has been a game changer, especially for the annuity side. So if you're a producer that's done a lot of MIGA business in the past, especially with IMES, you're actually able to go in there and see who's coming out of surrender. You're able to keep up with renewal rates. So it's a really big tool. And then we also, it's made enhancements. So now you could even see training on that, see where you might still need training before submitting an application. So that's a big deal as well. And of course, we have our creative services. Our creative services, I believe we're very fortunate to have. So just like we all come into the office, our creative team also comes into the office, and they're here day in, day out in person. So if there's ever something that I need help with, I'm able to just go walk into the office and ask for help. So what they do, they focus on agency solutions, digital solutions, turnkey options. So we have a really wide range of agents that do all sorts of marketing, right? So we have guys that still like to do handouts, brochures, they'll do seminar marketing, so they'll need stuff like that for. Otherwise, we have some other agents that just like to focus on the digital side of things. So making sure everything digitally is just crossing off all the boxes. So that's what they focus on. And of course, again, you have your marketing dollars, which you could also dip into for any of their services. And they're always here and ready to help. And we're very lucky to have them because we don't outsource any of our creative services. This is all done in-house. And so the nice part is, if you are still figuring out what kind of marketing is working for you and what doesn't, we do have a complimentary marketing analysis. So this marketing analysis, this is tailor-made for you. And we've actually brought on a marketing implementation specialist, CJ. I think that the game has totally changed ever since we brought CJ on, because not only does he make a marketing analysis for you, but he also makes a 90-day game plan after this has been said and done. Because at the end of this is a two-pronged process. So in that first call that you're doing with CJ, he is gathering a lot of data, asking a lot of questions, and really just trying to see exactly where you're at in your business and where you want to go, what you like, what you don't like, so that on the second part of the phone call, he is refining the marketing that you're doing a little bit more. He's seeing where you can move the needle. He's seeing what opportunities we have to enhance either your digital presence or maybe incorporate another lead program, whatever it may be, depending on the marketing that you want for your business. He's there to help you through that every single way, because it can be very overwhelming. So definitely really grateful to have him here. And we do have our IMS Wealth Management team. Now, this is for our securities type of agents and so advisors. Our advisors, especially on the IMS Wealth Management side, I think are some of the smartest people, but they're also very humble. And so if you are also securities licensed, they have the same value propositions that IMS does. So, and it is, of course, family owned. And so IAMS, our value propositions from the day we started was customization, collaboration, and best-in-class service. They have the same values, just on the security side. They're right down the street from us, actually, in another office. And what they aim to do as well on the security side is increase your revenue, improve your client retention, and then strengthen relationships through the programs and services that they have. So if you are already securities licensed or looking to be, they have a great starter program as well. So I would highly suggest you get involved with them if you have any kind of curiosities at all about that side of the business. And then next, we do have our Life and Annuity Academy. So we actually have one more that's coming up here this year. I believe we've done about 5 this year. But we have our Life and Annuity Academy. Talcott is actually one of the sponsors, so I'm really excited for this one. We have 2 of the top carriers that will be sponsoring this event. And if you haven't been to this academy yet, I would highly suggest you do so. So we'll have multi-million-dollar keynote speakers here, and it's a great way for seasoned agents that are already doing well to really help move the needle, especially in 2027. Because what you're doing, you're networking, you're meeting directly with carriers, you're meeting the office here, you're getting a whole tour of the office. You're seeing who you do business with. 1, that's important, but 2, also just all of the networking that you get to do. It really helps enhance some of the marketing that you're doing, from what I've noticed, especially between the networking with some of our top agents. So I would highly suggest, if you have not been to an academy yet, to definitely do so. And typically the threshold that we have for here is $1 to $2 million of production. So definitely ask us where you're at. And if it's not where you're at yet, ask us how we could help you get there. And so lastly, these are our social media buttons on our website, Facebook, LinkedIn. Make sure to follow us on our social medias. Make sure to have access to the portal, especially if you're someone that's not registered yet here with IAMS. And before I pass this on to Sam, I'll be putting up another poll here. So the second to last poll that I have is, are you interested in attending our Life and Annuity Academy? So go ahead, start taking your votes. I noticed a lot more people came in, so thank you. So hopefully we get some more votes as well. All right, well, it looks like I still got some votes coming in, but I always do a follow-up, especially because we have a lot of important material to share with you, and some follow-up flyers, rate sheets, and everything that I'll be sending out. So I'll close this up and then catch up with you guys here tomorrow when I do my follow-up, and then I'll go ahead and hand this over to Sam.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kat. I'll we'll go ahead and share my screen once I have the ability. All right, looks like it's switching over. One moment. I think screen 2. There we go. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, looks great.
All righty. Perfect. So thank you so much, Kat. Thanks for having me on this morning. Since our launch in January, it has been an absolute pleasure working with all of you at IMES. So thank you for the continued partnership. And we're excited to be a part of the Academy here in a couple of months. So hopefully look forward to meeting some people at the call at the Academy as well. We do have some really exciting updates going on at Talcott right now. And if you are contracted with Talcott currently, you've probably gotten some communication over the past week or so. So what I'd like to do here with our time today is just run through exactly what has changed over the past week with our recent enhancements. And I think overall, you will be happy with a lot of the enhancements that you see. So, effective 8/17, like I mentioned, we made enhancements, and the majority of the enhancements were to our Assurance 10 product. And our Assurance 10 product is built for guaranteed income. Over the past 8 months or so, we've been very near or at the top of the market for immediate income. And while we're still going to be competitive in immediate income for our early path rider, we are making some slight decreases to immediate income, but at the same time, we're also getting much more competitive in slightly later deferrals, most specifically deferrals of 2 to 5 years. And I've actually got a heat map in a minute that I'll show that really highlights where we're most competitive relative to the rest of the marketplace. So that's early path. That's early income. On future path, our income later story, we've made a few changes as well. And first, we added a 10% account value premium bonus, not to the income benefit base, but the actual account value. And that's a great addition. And we also are now extremely competitive in deferrals of 7 years and beyond. Really, 7 to 15 years is the sleeve we're most competitive. So, good stuff on both of the riders. For both of those rider options and our assurance product in general, we also added model portfolios. Those model portfolios are the same ones that you see on our Aspire series. And because of the changes, unfortunately, we do require new product training to be completed. I feel the need to mention that. I'd hate to have you going through an application and realize that you can't sell the product due to an error that pops up. So if you are contracted with Talcott, if you've done the training prior, I just want to remind you, you do need to complete product training once again, unfortunately, but it'll have all of the changes in there as well as an additional review, and it's pretty painless. So please make sure you complete product training now that we're past the 17th. And one other enhancement, not on our assurance product, but on our Aspire series, which is our growth and accumulation oriented product, we actually increased the premium bonus there as well. We increased the bonus up to 20%. So really good news on that front. But what I'd like to do with these changes, just kind of go through at a very high level. First, I know many of you may not be as familiar with Talcott. Talcott is a newer company in the space, a newer name. So I just want to spend just a couple minutes giving you a little bit of a background on Talcott. We'll go through our assurance product series at a pretty high level. And then lastly, just touch on Aspire with that higher premium bonus. And then suitability, I know, sales, suitability, compliance, everything kind of goes hand in hand. So I just want to give you a flavor for the types of business that we'll accept and what our stance is on many of the replacements, because we're in an interest rate environment now where we can put clients in better situations for replacement business for policies that may have been written in a lower rate environment. So with that, I'll continue to move on here. Like I mentioned, Talcott, when we talk about Talcott may be a newer name. And what we like to say is we're new, but we're not new. We're a new entrant, but we're not a startup. And we entered back into the retail annuity market here, with our launch with IMES at the beginning of 2026. And one thing to remember about Talcott is actually built on over 100 years of experience, as we have roots back to Hartford Life. And if you've heard of Hartford Life was started in 1902. And if you're not familiar with Talcott, Hartford Life's probably a name you're more familiar with. Hartford Life in the early 2000s was the industry's number one seller of variable annuities. And, Hartford Life ended up getting out of the business. They shed their life and annuity block. And in 2018, Talcott purchased that block, which has helped get us to where we are currently with 127 billion in AUM. In 2021, Talcott was acquired by Sixth Street, who's a private equity firm with 120 billion in AUM themselves, and they are our strategic partners who provide asset management expertise along with capital to fuel our growth. But overall, all in all, annuities are not something new to us as an organization. Talcott is A- rated with AM Best. We have over 500 employees, many of which are located in Hartford, Connecticut, which is where our headquarters are. And we have 1.2 million contracts on our books. So that's from either policies that we've issued in the past as Hartford Life or policies that we currently reinsure from some of the industry's top names. So as you can see, we're new, but we like to think that we're veterans in the annuity space. And, again, just speaking about reinsurance, I think one of the things that I always like to mention is at Talcott, we reinsure over $65 billion in policyholder obligations from many of the blue chip companies in the space. And I think, again, it's having these organizations come in and work with Talcott and do their due diligence and allow us to take on their policyholder obligations. They look at the strength of Talcott. And again, I think that's just a testament to who we are as an organization and our financial strength to have the relationships with these blue chip carriers across the space. So that's a little bit about Talcott. Now I want to jump into our assurance product. And like I mentioned earlier and at the beginning of this call, this is where we've made the majority of our enhancements over the past week. So our Assurance 10 product, our Assurance 10 is built for guaranteed income. We have a 10-year product. We issue from ages 40 to 85, a $25,000 minimum and $2 million maximum. We take qualified and non-qualified funds. We allow inherited IRAs when they are spousal. I think one other thing to mention too is we do non-qualified stretches. I know there isn't a lot of homes in the industry for carriers who do non-qual stretches, so we accept non-qual stretches on all of our products. So if you have those types of ownerships with your clients, we allow those structures with Talcott. So something to remember there. 10% free withdrawals begin in year 2. And there is a full death benefit equal to the account value. So those are just the high level specs on assurance. But here are the updated rider details after the enhancements that have been made. So what we have is we really have 2 different options depending on when your clients want an income stream. Option 1, early path, and option 2, future path. These do need to be elected at the time of application. Option 1, early path, this is really earlier income, right? Income from immediacy to really year 5 or 6. With option 1, early path, clients will now receive a 15% income benefit based bonus, and they'll also receive a 10% compound interest roll up for years 1 to 3 and 4% for years 4 to 10. So a total of a 10-year roll up for early path. For option 2, future path, again, future path is built for later deferrals. Think years 7 and beyond. Your clients will actually receive a 10% premium bonus to their account value, not the benefit base, but the account value. And it's a little bit lower at 7% for later ages, age 76 and beyond. So that's on the AV side. On the income rider side, they'll get a 10% benefit based bonus with a 10% compound interest roll up for 10 years and 3% for years 11 to 15. Also, if your client waits to activate income for years 7 and beyond, they get a 15% income boost. What's an income boost? Basically, you take their payout factor, whatever it is at that age, and increase it by 15%. So if it was at 5, it would go to 575. And that happens to any payout factor after waiting 7 years and beyond for a deferral period. So speaking of payout factors, on the screen, you can see the payout factors for each option, early path and future path. We have level, single life, and joint life payouts with these payout factors, and they increase with each age. You don't have to elect what type of payout you want until income activation. You don't have to do it at the time of application. You can wait to decide single or joint life. So that's how the rider works. These are what the payout factors are. Now let's look at competitiveness. This heat map that you see on the screen, this includes nearly every product and guaranteed income rider in the market. So this chart actually shows Talcott's Assurance 10 product in its rank. Those are the numbers that you see in the cells. It's rank in each age and deferral period. So on the left-hand side of the chart, you have issue age, and as you move to the right, this is the withdrawal delay for actually activating the income rider. So as you can see for early path, we're currently at the top or very near the top of the market for deferrals of 2 to 5 years, really stretching from the mid 50s to early 70s. For future path, we're extremely competitive and top of market in a wide swath of ages from 7-year deferrals from mid 50s to late 60s. So again, two different sleeves, if you will, with each of these options, but overall extremely competitive relative to the rest of the marketplace. And those dark yellows, a lot of ones, a lot of twos, where Assurance is top of market when it comes to guaranteed income for your clients. So a lot of good stuff here with the recent enhancements. To wrap up our Assurance product, really there's two additional items that I want to mention. First, the rider charge. So the annual rider charge is 0.85%. It's based on the income benefit base, but it's 0.85%, so less than 1%. I think that's relatively low cost compared to other riders in the industry, especially with benefits this rich. And also there's an enhanced income benefit. The enhanced income benefit is an ADL-driven doubler. If you start a policy and your client's unable to perform 2 of 6 ADLs, their income can double for a period of up to 5 years or until the contract value hits 0. There is a 1-year wait for this feature to be available. I know others in the industry, it can be a 2 or 3 year wait, but only a 1-year wait for our doubler. So good stuff there as well. But yeah, that wraps up our Assurance product. Again, extremely competitive for guaranteed income. If you have clients who want guaranteed income, I encourage you to take a look at it. Next, I do just want to briefly touch on our Aspire series, just because we did have good news come through on the 17th. We had one additional positive adjustment to our Aspire 10 product with a premium bonus. We have increased the premium bonus from 18 to 20%. So it is now tied. We are now tied for the highest no fee bonus product in the industry from carriers that are A- rated and above. The bonus is reduced at later ages. So from 76 to 85, it's 12%. However, a bonus of 12% up to age 85 is also a bit of a sweet spot. But great news there with the bonus increase now to 20%. And again, just to give you a little bit of a flavor for rates, we also have a 10% S&P 500 cap on the non-bonus version of this product for high band cases. So 10% there on the non-bonus version. And then even with a 20% bonus, clients would still receive a 5.5% cap rate for high band cases on the 10-year product. So all good stuff there. Next, I want to switch directions just a little bit and talk through our suitability guidelines. Like I mentioned earlier in the call, there's a lot of good replacement opportunities that are happening right now, just being able to put clients in better positions given the higher interest rate environment that we're in right now. So, I wanted to highlight many of the most common things that we see from a replacement perspective and really our stance on it. So, for Talcott specifically, In order for us to consider a replacement, the contract at the other carrier must be at least 2 years old. And for accumulation based to accumulation based replacements, uh, when we're putting a client in a better position, we will actually allow up to a 7% net loss to a client's accumulated value. That is, on the high end of our threshold, a 7% loss, and that's with any premium bonus or market value adjustment. That's after the fact. Again, it's net. So 7% on accumulation to accumulation or income to accumulation. I think one of the other areas that we're really flexible is we will actually go up to 85% of an individual's net worth in annuities when they have a net worth of 2 million or more and they have sufficient liquid assets, 36 months worth of expenses in liquid assets. So that there is a sliding scale on percent net worth in annuities. We have that in our suitability guidelines, and it is based on an individual's net worth and how much we'll allow, along with some liquidity guidelines there as well. Uh, Given how competitive we are in income, for income to income replacements, when we beat the other carrier's income, we do have a recoupment schedule here, and it's dependent on age. So, just to give you an example, ages less than 74, with a net surrender loss between 0 and 7%, whatever that loss is, we want that to be made up in 15 years or less. Whatever that individual is losing on the account value transfer, we will want to be able to make that up during the 10-year period, or I'm sorry, within the next 15 years in order to make them whole. So again, we have this, it's dependent upon age and whatever the loss is, we want to be able to make a client whole with our higher income amount, from beating that other carrier's guaranteed income. So a little bit of math, but I think it's great to have guidelines that are very straightforward like this. So, when you have those instances, you'll know exactly where Talcott stands. A couple of other things that have come up really over the last couple of months that I do want to make you aware of as well is um, for income to income replacements, when you have clients who maybe their situation was a little bit different in years past, and if they're looking to move from a single life income rider payout option to a joint life payout option, we are very flexible there. I know there's a lot of contracts that have been written prior, and you have to elect a single life payout or joint life payout at the time of application. And then things change, 10, 15 years down the line, an individual actually wants a joint payout. We are very flexible there. If they want a joint payout now, we will actually look at that, and we don't always require our single life income to exceed the other carrier's single life income amount. To make that process smooth, we actually have created an acknowledgement form that can be submitted with those types of applications. And another thing that I get asked a lot are contracts that have really large death benefits, right? Like there might be a large benefit-based value that can be taken as a death benefit over a 5-year period. How does Talcott look at those? We are actually less concerned with those 5-pay or 10-pay death benefits, and we are more concerned with what's the lump sum death benefit or the account value death benefit rather than the 5-pay benefit. We don't ask for the enhanced death benefit in our application process. We simply want the death benefit that is the lump sum or the accumulated value. So yeah, that's our stance from a suitability perspective. Anytime you have questions on that, feel free to reach out to us and just we can point you in the right direction and get a gauge there. So that is, that's a high level. The changes that have happened at Talcott really over the last week or so, if you're not contracted with us, please, I encourage you to, reach out to Kat, reach out to IMS, start the contracting process. If you want to look more at Talcott and what we have to offer, all of our resources and information is on talcott.com. You do not have to have a login or anything like that. Nothing is behind a login. you can simply go out there and take a look at our product material, our rates, our income calculator, all of those things. So that is all out there and available. And we look forward to working with you. And Kat, thank you so much. These are always great, these webinars, and just getting an opportunity to talk with your producers and tell them the latest and greatest with Talcott. So with that, I will pause and I will turn it back over to you.
Yeah, absolutely, Sam. Thank you for all of that material. It was quite a bit of enhancement, but I know you had a strong first part of the year, and it'll only get stronger in that second part of the year. I think you guys are offering the clients quite a bit here, especially with those enhancements. So if you guys didn't catch, but in that future path income rider, there's a 10% premium bonus on that as well. So it also makes it even easier for replacements on that end. And then I think part of the reason why Talcott is also as competitive as they are is because of that 85 basis point rider. So I just wanted to reestablish some of those points that Sam had made and pointed out on some of the slides, because I've been talking about Talcott quite a bit. Their service time has also been very good. They also contract really quickly. So anytime I've had any issues or needed something expedited, Sam and his team, Stephanie, have been really amazing at just getting things across the board. I did have a couple of questions come up. So one question was actually, I had one from yesterday. Since the future path and the early path rider have to be elected on the application, is there any way that they could change that if they are deferring income down the line, or does it stay set at that income rider?
Yeah, unfortunately, you do have to elect early path or future path
Okay.
at the time of application. You don't have to elect single or joint payouts at the time of application. You can wait until income activation to do that. But yeah, unfortunately, they're quite a bit different. In one, gets an account value bonus, the other
The
doesn't. The interest
bonuses,
is
I figured.
credited and all of those things. So yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And then the only other question I got was on the non-qual stretches. So I kind of just want to gear it back to the Aspire series. They are 20% bonus, no fee, so they are tied for highest bonus. And where I could see that being incredibly competitive is the fact that they do non-qual stretches. And so on that other carrier, um, it's spousal only on their FIA. So if it's non-spousal, which I actually come across more of than spousal, oddly enough, are you guys also available at non-spousal on that Aspire series for the FIA?
It is spousal only. I believe we will allow non-spousal if it was pre-Secure Act. So it
Okay,
would have had to be a while ago. Just because those pre-Secure Act don't have the same distribution rules as the non-spousal do now.
okay.
So yeah, we're a little bit flexible in that regard, but yeah, it's typically spousal only, unfortunately.
It's okay. It's still better than a MIGA, so
Yep, yep.
we'll take it. And
Exactly.
that's a good bonus. But that's all I had. I really appreciate all of the time that you had put into the presentation, Sam, and for coming on. And then for all of you, I do have my last poll here. So my last poll is, do you all incorporate income planning in your practice? So if you already incorporate income planning, I think Talcott should definitely be part of your conversation, as they have the lowest income rider. So therefore the client gets their money, as much of it as they can. And then they have that great ADL doubler, of course, great product enhancement. So it's going to be really good in the deferral years. Plus they get a premium bonus. So if you guys aren't utilizing Talcott already, I certainly would. I'm going to go ahead and close up that poll. But again, thank you again so much, Sam, for always joining and taking good care of us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for setting this up, Kat. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Take care, guys. Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you all.